don't become an emotional trader. And if you are one already, just stop. You have to understand that your initial grub stake, if that's what you want to call it, is risk capital. And you have to put yourself in the mindset that you're ready, willing, and able to lose any of it, right? Otherwise, you're going to be too attached to the money. You're going to develop bad habits. You're going to get frustrated, angry. You're going to act out. You're going to go on tilt. Sound familiar? Lucky for me, I never really had a problem about going on tilt because I knew from other areas of my life that when you get all angry, I think this is from the Stoics, you just make yourself look like a fool. And then you have more regrets. So you have to set your expectations that when you're starting out, the truth is you don't know anything. Even though you might feel like you're growing in leaps and bounds and it's very fun to learn this stuff, it's not practical to think that you're going to come out and start hitting grand slams. You know, remember, Michael Jordan got cut from his high school team. So I don't mean to say it this way, but you're going to have to pay your dues one way or another. I don't know if it's going to be tactical, if it's going to be trade management. Oh, by the way, we're going to do a live stream tomorrow on on trade management, so it might be worth it for you to be there. We're not going to be doing a bunch of chart review. We're going to talk about risk management and trade management, what to do or what do you do while you're in the trade. And so I hope you can make it as fast as possible and that you can grow and amplify your cash. I'm going to go through and show you like what my goals were, why I was doing what I was doing, how I broke up my money when you have a smaller account. Now, I have to admit, like those rules aren't what I'm doing right now, but they can be very, very helpful for the person who's out there. Maybe you're doing one of these trading challenges. I don't know. The world is full of all types. At the end of the day, ultimately, though, if you let the market get the best of you, you've already lost. You see, you have to be grounded. I've done a million things, you know, because I that's how I was built. I always had a strong inner voice. So I kind of stayed within myself. I always realized like I had clients, you know, maybe I had thick skin. I don't know because when I had the landscaping company, there were people who were like, "Oh, I ran out of checks. I'm waiting for the checkbook to come in the mail because this is going way back. There wasn't an internet at the time, you know." And then they would just disappear and never pay me, and never like schedule the next appointment with me. I had people who, when I waited tables, I I was a good waiter at the end of the day. I had a great mind like a trap. I knew the menu. I was very attentive because I knew that their experience was a lot of it was gonna be about the service. So, I was always clean shaven, always brushed my teeth, had fresh breath, and I always, tried to get at the bottom of like what were they looking, for in that particular time. But there were still people who would shortchange you, even at a time and at a place where this wasn't at the mafia joint, but at some of the other places I had worked, people would leave 10% because the bills were so high. Some of the bills would come out to be like $200 when you add booze, and some of the folks would just leave 10% because they'd be like, well, we really shouldn't have to tip on the booze, or they're one of these people sitting there with the calculator, like taking out the tax, doing whatever. I just look at the bill these days and figure like, okay, bill's $400, it's $80 in tip, no problem, right? Because you get what you give, right? And I just want abundance hitting me from all sides and from places that I can't even like foresee. On the golf course, it depended on the course. The rates were largely fixed at one particular place, so there was no cash. They would fill out this little chit and X marks at 18, this and that. So there wasn't really tipping. That was at Quaker Ridge. But oftentimes a member would let you go buy lunch on their ticket, so it was effectively like a $10 tip, which was a nice gesture. It wasn't done pretty much by anybody. There were a handful of people who did it. Now, these people are name recognized people. Like if I mentioned their names, you would know who they were. And at Winged Foot, it was much more cash, and tipping was encouraged. So I had so much business experience of people kind of, I don't want to say screwing me over, but not paying me my worth, that when I was at the marketplace, I just looked at it as a blessing. I was like, now I have the opportunity to have unlimited upside. I don't have to worry about doing a hard day's work and having, someone give me, 12% as a gratuity or as a tip at the restaurant. Again, at the Italian place, cash was flowing all over the place. There was never anybody who would shortchange me. It was more like when I was starting out and worked at some other places. I worked at a restaurant that did mostly catering at one point, but that was short lived because those people were just, I don't know what it was. They were just cheap. And I was like, I'm not working this much on Friday, all day Saturday, and then all day Sunday for peanuts. Like, I'm not working as a waiter for basically what looked like a salary. That wasn't going to happen. Anyway, off the subject, but by the time I got to trade, I thought, I said, wow, what a privilege. For first time in my life, I have unlimited upside. I really just have to tap in. Where's my compass, right? And I would look figuratively at my compass and say, am I pointing north for myself? Because I could see other people doing well and that they had a combination that was unique to them. I thought it was a unique combination that would work for everybody, but you find out the hard way that, buying and holding and doing, long-term position trading doesn't work for people who have the mindset of folks who want to scalp. Holding anything overnight is petrifying to them, right? So, we're going to take a look at that as well, perhaps tomorrow on the live stream. But I never wanted to become my own worst enemy because I knew the market was going to change. And I talk to Victor Sperandio about this all the time. The market's always out there to try to morph and change to take your money. It's like a biological organism in that it's going to evolve over time. And what works in one period of time might not work in the next. Now, if you're following a strict set of rules, those rules don't typically turn on a dime and then all of a sudden stop working and then have negative expected value. There'll be a bit of a range, right? And then maybe the market catches on and it can change. But in all of my backtesting history, I can't recall ever trying to test rules that were very healthily into high expected value trades that were cut in half even. Because once the rules work, they kind of work for a reason. These are more longer term rules. They're not day trading rules. But, there you have it. So at the end of the day, when I've tried yoga, because I did it anyway, I tried meditation, kind of because you could turn anything into a meditation. When I paint, it's meditative. When I play guitar, which I've done since I'm 7, it's also meditative. So I was lucky in that I could always kind of quiet my mind and put things into perspective. And just because you lose money today doesn't mean you're going to lose money tomorrow. You really want to think about grouping your behavior as it relates to, chunks of trades, whether that's a week or a month's worth of trades, right? Because, let's define drawdown. Drawdown is what happens from month to month. Just because you have a losing trade on a Monday or Tuesday, I don't call that drawdown, right? That's just 2 losing trades or 2 days where I lost money. Today I was down 1/10 of 1%. Who cares? Who cares? It's small potatoes. Like, that's just the way it goes. And I'll show you how, I used to do things tomorrow on the live stream that might help you very, very much because you need to have emotional control. If you get emotional about trading and things not, were you a kid or a person who throws a temper tantrum when things don't go your way? It's going to be hard for you to assimilate into the marketplace because the market obviously just doesn't care what you're doing in the market or whether you're there or not. But if you act without discipline and if you have a pissy attitude, the market's going to spank your ass, right? That's just the way it's going to go. Because the market, like bees and dogs, can sense fear. And if you put on a trade and then you're glued to the monitor watching your P&L because you're panic struck, honestly, just stop. You're not cut out for this. That's crazy. You can't be that dialed in, right? It's not about the money at that point, right? It's about being right. Because you can't have that small of an account, right? Where you have to watch the trade tick by tick. You shouldn't be doing this for the excitement. Anyway, I'll be doing the live stream tomorrow. You can be there through this channel. There's a bunch of information on the site. Check it out. In the meantime, check out these videos here.